ESPN FC studios. I'm Alexis Nunes alongside Shaka, Hislop. We're going to be talking through a lot of action, especially in La Liga, where the big dogs are finally starting to play. Atletico de Madrid and Cholo Simeone just wrapping up a game against Malaga, newly promoted Malaga.
To get 2 goals of this quality is exactly what Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone would have wanted.
Yeah, and it's pretty good stuff to see from Lee Kang-in because, of course, Luis, we were talking about how he's coming from PSG, where he had to take a backseat, of course, to the one and only Kvaratskhelia, which we expected. And now to kind of get a breath of fresh air, a new chapter, and to start it off in the perfect way.
Yeah, exactly. And he's one of those players that you know that is going to bring something fresh up front. He's got that ability on 1v1 situation, fantastic left foot that he's always trying to look. He tried his luck just before that fantastic goal that we saw, almost from the middle of the park in one of the clearance from the keeper. And he's a player who also can give you that advantage of being played in different positions. He can play as a second striker, he can play as a striker, he can play on the right side, he can play on the left side. Today, the first moment that he was on the right side, that I think is his perfect position. Grab the ball, face you 1v1, drop the shoulder again, and then look up and see where the keeper is. And he takes a perfect strike from outside the box to put the first one in. I think it's a great start for the Korean player that shows Simeone something that maybe is missing, because when Giuliano Simeone play in that kind of position, his regular movements are wide to try to cross, not many diagonals, and not many goals during the season. And Kang-in bring you something different, the ability of scoring goal, assisting, and always being a threat.
Yes, indeed. All right, so Atletico Madrid and Cholo Simeone take care of business. They are off the mark with their 3 points, but can their closest rivals get a good start to the new La Liga season? All right, well, let's talk about some transfer news parties, because now we see some other big signings. Ezri Konsa, he looks set to join Arsenal from Aston Villa for about £51 million. Tijani Reinders is heading off to the Saudi Pro League at Al-Qadsiya for €61 million. And Curtis Jones, he's leaving Merseyside to suit up for Inter Milan for €35 million. Well, let's welcome in our Don Hutchison as well, who's joining us for this one. Don, let's start off with Ezri Konsa, because Arsenal, once again, looking like they're doing great business to further cement the fact that they are probably the best squad in Europe right now.
Absolutely, and I think a very, very shrewd and smart signing, because Konsa's another player at Arsenal that can play different positions. He can play right back, he can play in a 2, he can play in a 3. Not that they play with a 3, but he's versatile. He's a very, very underrated defender, Ezri Konsa. I think I heard Morgan Rogers talking about him today, and he was saying about he's underrated. He doesn't get done in any duels. He's good in the air. He's fast. He reads the game well. So you think for Arsenal and signing him, it's a fantastic signing. He adds to the squad. He gives competition to the players that are playing in those positions. It's a difficult one for Villa. Like Newcastle, are losing too many players. But in terms of the player making that move, going to the champions, I think it's a great signing for Arsenal.
Great signing for Arsenal, and he's just one of many. If we have a look at all of the new signings for Arsenal, Shaka, you really are envious, especially if you're a Newcastle man.
Yeah, you look at well, let's not go down.
Let's not go
down that road, Alexis. Look at the departures, very much fringe players. Trossard did play a significant role over the last couple of seasons, but he exits. You look at the arrivals. Bruno Guimaraes, maybe I'm biased, but one of the best in that midfield position. Konsa comes in, especially with the injury to Saliba, makes an awful lot of sense, and again adds depth to this Arsenal squad. Solis announced himself with very good effect in the Community Shield, and now all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, Arsenal's squad is the envy of everybody else in the Premier League. Still, maybe not enough competition in terms of that number 9 spot. I'm not sold on Gyökeres, but Arsenal win the league with him, being able to rely on Gyökeres or Havertz. Nothing's changed in that regard. They've strengthened everywhere else. In Raya, if not without question, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And everybody else have major questions, whether it's a loss of personnel or a change of manager. So you just wonder where that challenge is going to come from. And I'm drawing a blank in that regard.
Don, what about you? Especially with all that Shaka just said and just having a look at the Premier League title odds. Is it Arsenal or anybody from the rest of the field for you to win the Premier League this season?
No, it's Arsenal all day long. To Shaka's point, I mean, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool have all got new managers. And Man City are trying to re-go after Guardiola and losing Rodri and Bernardo Silva. I think it's Arsenal's by a distance. I think they'll play better football. I think last year was a grind for them. It had to be a grind just to get the trophy in the bag, to put it in the cabinet. This year, I think you'll see with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, that signing, and Solis, another one. I think you'll see them a lot more chilled, a lot more relaxed, with the same intensity, of course. But I think you'll see an Arsenal side that season that will play. And to me, right here, right now, as we sit before Liverpool City, I think Chelsea might be done with their business coming in. I just don't see a challenger. I do not see a contender.
Luis, what about you? Do you agree with the boys? Is it just looking like Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal now, or can you make a case for anybody else?
No, it's difficult to make a case because of what the guys are saying. New managers means that you don't know what you're going to face. The signings from the rest of the teams have been the same. Manchester City, I think, is missing, losing a lot of talent in the middle of the park, and that's going to make an impact straight away. And the way of they've been playing in the past few years, plus the manager, Iraola arriving to Liverpool, of course, going to be new fresh air, new style, and he's going to bring something extra for the player, but still, I think missing some pieces right there. A player who can capitalize all the chances, someone else at the back, even though that Araujo, I think, is going to be important for Liverpool this year because it's not only about going forward and scoring goals, but also not conceding. That I think that's something that they did happen the last year. And for Arsenal, it's about keeping doing the same. Plus, now they can even rotate even better. They can go in every competition, having the opportunity of having fresh legs and with the same talent that they got waiting on the bench. So I like what Tottenham has done. We probably not going to talk a lot about them, but I think they have done a great job on signing a team that in the past few years it was trying to get closer to the top positions, and this year I think they might have the option. And with Chelsea and Xabi Alonso also to see what is happening with them, because again I think it's a very young, talented squad. Maybe too deep, but definitely something that we might see something different from the past 2 or 3 years. So yeah, for me as well, it's all about Arsenal and see if the other teams can challenge to get closer and keep the race alive until the last part of the season.
Yeah, Don, Luis brings up a good point that Spurs also have been doing some pretty good business. It looks like now they could be grabbing Savinho and Omar Marmoush. If you're a Spurs man, are you loving that?
Absolutely. I think they've had a fantastic window. And I think it shows you the pull that De Zerbi's got. He's got all the power. You know, he went into Tottenham at the end of the last season where they were looking like they were going to be down between them and West Ham, and he survived, and he made sure he kept Tottenham in the Premier League. Now he's got the pull. Now he's starting to sign proper Tottenham players. I think
Don,
Savinho
what about
had
these two
competition with
specifically?
Marmoush.
What do you like about Savinho and Marmoush, what they can bring to Spurs?
Well, I think, they're squad players and they had competition because, listen, De Zerbi's not going to wait for no man. He's not going to wait for Kudus to be fit. He's not going to wait for Kulusevski to get fit. He wants players that are raring to go, and that's what Savinho will bring. That's what Marmoush will bring. They need more goals in that number 9 position. So he, alongside Dominic Solanke, he'll fight for the number 9 position, Marmoush. So I look at the work that De Zerbi's doing, and he is very strong. And he's saying to Spurs, listen, if we don't go for it now, we never will. And that's why you're seeing Spurs spend close to, 250, 300 million.
Shaka?
Yeah.
I know it hurts you, but this is looking like good business.
No, it is. Listen, and first of all, Sandro Tonali, even at 108 million, which I think is a little inflated, but certainly adds strength, adds quality to Spurs midfield. All those signings make an incredible amount of sense. To Don's point, you add Savinho and Marmoush to that added quality in wide areas and through the middle. Marmoush is a player I like a lot. Okay, didn't feature as much as he would like for Manchester City, but given what you saw of him at Frankfurt, a lot to be excited about if you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Didn't kind of set the place alight at City, but I think that was more a symptom of the fact that Erling Haaland likes to play up front on his own. And so wasn't that kind of makeshift Julian Alvarez replacement that Pep Guardiola certainly was hoping for. But there's no question that Marmoush brings an incredible amount of quality as well to the Spurs squad. De Zerbi is doing incredible business this summer. I think Spurs may be a team to be reckoned with. I won't commit any further than that.
We had a little, we had to be reckoned with. What were we thinking like?
We'll talk about that later.
We're going to talk about that later because Shaka made some bold predictions and there may have been some bets that went on off camera that we're going to get to.